Hello everyone, I hope you're well, and this is just an update, as you can see, on something that isn't Napoleonics. This is the Persians that I've been painting over the past few weeks. I just wanted to paint something other than Napoleonic uniforms, and if you remember, I had a video came out a while back where I had these models, so got them painted up. Haven't painted everything that I have. I've still got about 30 or more infantry to get started, but quite pleased with how they've turned out. They're quite colourful, so I thought I would show you a video of what they are and my plans for them. So these are later Achaemenid, I think is the right word, Persians, and these fought against Alexander in the year 330 BC. So based roughly on the battle list that we know of the Battle of Gaugamela. So there'll be quite a large cavalry wing, a large body of infantry, and in Gaugamela, according to contemporary reports, there were elephants, although Darius didn't use them, but it's an excuse to have elephants in my force. So yeah, I'll show you the miniatures, I suppose, up close first of all. I just move the camera on the tripod here. So this is the first U6 cavalry. These are all Victrix models, and I went for a tighter formation with them just to get that sense of mass, and they're really, really lovely models, really, really nice, and paint up very well. So the patterns on Persian uniforms are quite intricate, so I generally tended to keep them quite simple, and I started to repeat patterns on the same colour, just to have a sense of uniformity. Because I think I'll get the words out yet. I think sometimes if you go for too much variety in colour, your army looks a bit chaotic, and there is something nice about uniformity when you see it on the battlefield. So those are those 6, and then the other 6 are over here. Sorry about the shaky camera. And I quite like this guy with the it looks like a Macedonian helmet he has on him, so he's probably looted that from the dead. But lovely sculpts, these Victrix models. The lion pelt then. So that's them. Quite pleased with them. So at the minute I have 2 small units of 6, but the idea is that my cavalry regiments, or cavalry units for Hail Caesar, which is probably the rule set I'll use these with, they'll be 9 strong in this sort of formation, because that gives the sense of mass and just sort of cuts down on the number of models I need to paint. Which just means that I can sort of hit the target of finishing the army sooner, and then no doubt in the future I can add more to them to maybe to bring them up to larger units of maybe 12 or even 18. But for now, it's going to be those regiments of 9. It's going to be the standard size. So then you take a base away, that's a small unit, and then that's a tiny unit. So it's a nice visual indicator as well. Then I have the elephants. So what I'll do is I'll lift these cavalry. Move the first elephant forward. Now the references for their sort of tabards here are just different images I found on Google. So they may not be 100% accurate, but I've gone for them. Hand painted them. At a distance, this one looks okay. I'm actually quite pleased with this one. It's like the Persian griffin or something. And again, it's not spectacular, but at a distance, it looks quite effective. And then so these are actually Carthaginian models, but their armor is quite similar to the armored Persians. So I just stuck some Persian heads on them and give them a Persian sword, Persian bow, and yeah, they quite pass muster. And I went for a very sort of subtle wood effect on the how to, again, just copying that image and go. So that was the first elephant. Second elephant, I just went for some sort of simple geometric shapes there. Again, it's more about the look at a distance. The more I look at it now, I see the mistakes I made. But and again, lovely models to put together. And I just added some Persian shields to both the howdahs there to make them tie into the army a bit more. So same thing again, Carthaginian models with Persian heads, Persian weapons, and yeah. So 2 elephants, and that'll be enough elephants, I think. There were only 15 at the Battle of Gaugamela, so 2 is fine. This is the first commander. I think this is going to be one of the infantry commanders. So this model is from Warlord Games. It's the only Persian model they do at the moment, I believe. And this is a first Corps model, who are slightly smaller than the Victrix, but when they're on a base themselves, they're quite good. And the design there has been moulded in, so that's been nice. It was easy to shade it and then just sort of pick it out. And yeah. So he's got lovely gold armor as well, which is nice. Kind of denotes him as a commander. So happy with him. The other commander, this is going to be the commander for my Immortals. Once I start painting up some Immortals. The Immortals that I have seen are either yellow as the dominant colour with purple sort of accents, or purple is the dominant colour with yellow accents. So it's a sort of a flip of both. So I think I'll go for the purple because it's quite a strong colour, it's quite striking. If I can zoom in on this one, because I am quite pleased with the paintwork on these 2 models. These are both first Corps models, and I tried to match up the uniforms as much as possible to give that sense that the Immortals, from what I have read about the Persians, were issued a uniform by the king. So Darius would have issued their uniform, and they would have all been sort of dressed the same. So that's why they look a bit more similar to each other. And then we move on to the infantry. So I have started these units, and these are Sparabaras. So you've seen one of these before, but I've added to the force. This is the first unit, and it's a really, really, really nice effect whenever the shields are all lined up there at the front. It gives that nice sense. So that's what the bases look like from behind. But again, really, really, really lovely models. I think Victrix models are slightly larger. I tried to fit 6 onto a base, but they were just too cramped, and you know, someone would be shooting an arrow, and their arrow would be, you know, touching the shoulder of the model beside them. It didn't really make sense. So 5 to a base is it's visually pleasing to me. So and it also means I can get larger units. So that's the first unit of those, and I'll just show you the second unit. Try not to break the spears. This was the tester unit I had, so I'm not 100% happy with how this turned out. If you see this unit, there's a little more sense of uniformity in terms of, you know, there's models that have pink and blue, and if the camera will focus, you will see it even better. Pink and blue, and some different models with orange in there. But that was just to give the sense of, again, as I say, uniformity, while still being different. And they do look like individual soldiers, or maybe tribesmen that have come from the same area, and so maybe have the same cloth to hand, while also being sort of varied enough to make it. But these were all very varied, and it just looked a bit chaotic, and to be perfectly honest, it was it was slowing the painting process down, because I had to sort of, you know, think, right, this model's blue, okay, this model will be yellow, okay, this added green, and it just, I don't know, it took too much to think. So a little bit of uniformity in the units going forward, but this is the next unit. So again, Sparabara front, it just looks really dynamic. I'm really happy with it. how it's turned out. And happy with that banner again, freehand painted to look like the Persian griffin. I think it's a griffin. So the plan I have for the infantry units moving forward is at 15 models currently is a little bit too small for my liking. And these are the armoured Persian models that you get from Victrix. So my plan is to buy another box set of maybe unarmoured spearmen or unarmoured archers and fill out a second row behind, just to give that sense of depth and give that sense of mass. And then it also represents sort of the tactic that they had, where Sparrow Barrows would be at the front with the spears, the archers behind, and then, you know, the levy troops then in the background, ready to surge forward when the lines were to meet. So, I mean, that's it, really. That's my Persian force. So, pleased with how it is looking so far. It's small, but it's getting there. I have another 30 models to clip off the sprue and build, so planning on doing that this evening. And that should, yeah, there we go. And as you can see in the background, some more Napoleonics. So when I paint up these Persians and get bored of them, I'll move on to those as well. But that's the update. A little bit longer than I thought it would be. Hope everyone else's projects are going well. And yeah, happy wargaming.